Imagine, if you will, a universe where humans are not explorers of the cosmos, but mere exhibits, watched over by beings of unimaginable advancement. Our every move monitored for their scientific curiosity, or perhaps their entertainment. Silent and unseen, these cosmic observers could be lurking just beyond our perception, their eyes fixed on us like patrons at a galactic aquarium. With no signs and no contact, they scrutinize our behaviors, making notes in logbooks we can only dream of deciphering. This sinister yet strangely compelling notion toys with our understanding of our place in the universe and pokes at the pride of our species with a cold, alien finger. Are we alone, or are we an attraction? This case file, join the theorists as we go ape on the weird and wild idea of the Galactic Zoo Hypothesis.
Welcome to Alien Theorists Theorizing Case File 344. The Zoo, Galactic Zoo Hypothesis. I'm Braden.
I'm Zell.
I'm Dan.
Andrew's dead.
Woo. Andrew's
He's
dead. Yeah,
He's dead.
Hey, listen, every now and then, the zoo's got to put down an animal,
Yeah.
right? And that's what happened here.
Just
All right?
happens. You
Things are looking bleak, and we have to make cuts from the bottom up. The least senior theorist gets the axe first. And listen, it is what it is, right? Sometimes you got to make those cuts to trim the fat, lean out, right? And so that's it for Andrew.
Yeah, he put on a spare tire and we got rid of him.
Yeah, he was the heartthrob of the show, and he's been really letting himself go.
Big time.
So there's not a chance he could stay on the show. So basically we said, take some time away, figure out whatever's going on in your life that's causing you to be ugly, and
Get your shit together.
And fix it. All right? Because we can't all be ugly. So
No.
You were only here for eye candy.
You were the face.
That was it.
I get
So
no. Wait. Is he the face?
yeah,
Okay.
and now he's the ass. So now it's like we're like,
okay.
yeah, fix it, sort it out. So, he's taking some time to see what he can do. Plastic surgery, weight loss, Ozempic.
No, he's doing the BBL. He's getting BBL implants.
BBL, yeah, he's doing some calf
the
implants
lips and the ass.
Yeah.
Yeah, we told him, listen, you're right now you're a 3 dressed up as a 9, and until you come back as a hard 9, we don't want you. The Patreoners don't want to. They've let us know by unsubscribing. Enough. They've had enough. And
we have had comments on Patreon. There's a exit survey, and that's the main complaint.
And it's ew,
so disgusting.
Andrew, ew. That's the comments, and it's just one of those things. Like we can see if you follow the trajectory of the show and you watch as Andrew's looks start slipping, Andrew's looks and our Patreon numbers decline at the same trajectory.
Yep.
And so we've been like, okay, we got to stop. We got to stop the stop loss here. Right? Get off here. You're obviously fucking freaking people out. And not in a good way. And not in a way that people want to tune in because they're like, oh, look at this guy's face. Whoa, what's going on here? Woof, yeah. Because this is paid. That's paid to play, right? So people are paying to see that. It's honestly just you look and you're like, oh, ugh. I can't watch. I can't support this anymore. I can't support them putting this person on the air, on the internet.
I can't pay for this.
I can't pay for this.
Can't justify paying.
Exactly. So, hey, let's hope Andrew can sort it out and come back and boost these numbers. But if not, there's always like the freak show or something. Like, what's the?
We'll sell him to the circus.
Yeah. It's American Horror Stories. He could work on that. He's got the IMDb, right? He could be an extra on one of those.
You could sell him to Rick Dyer, maybe.
Yeah.
He needs all of that, and also has to submit his long-standing report on aliens in great detail, handwritten.
Yeah.
Why he believes they're out there.
Handwritten on 8-inch ruled paper.
Cursive.
Pencil.
Anyways, that brings us to today's topic, the Galactic Zoo Hypothesis. Everyone's had it. Everyone's had that thought. Like you went camping. You kind of just looked up and you're like,
where the fuck are they?
What the fuck, man?
We're here.
Where's everybody else?
Oh, yeah, dude. Who hasn't shot a beam of consciousness out into the fucking universe on a fucking...
You close your eyes.
Oh, yeah. And you're like, I'm sending...
And you're trying to connect with something.
Something out there.
Yeah. Stephen Greer makes you pay for it. We've done it.
Yeah. He makes you sign an NDA first.
Yeah. It's one of those things, because it's like, we've talked about the Fermi paradox, and it's like, the universe is, estimated 14 billion years old?
Keeps getting older. They keep pushing that.
Keep getting older. But like our planet Earth is 4 billion? They estimated that. So it's like,
well, no, if you go with all matter came from a singular point, all matter is the same age.
Yeah. Okay, Einstein. Thanks for that. Okay.
No, but Earth, like the planet.
It's made of the same matter. Okay. Yeah, we're made of the stars.
We're all stardust, know what I mean?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. We're billions of years in.
Like our planet is formed 4 billion years, it's housed 2 forms of intelligent life in 4 billion years. First, the reptilian dinosaurs. They talked.
And they escaped off the planet before the asteroid.
Yeah. Yes. No, they didn't escape. They died. They talked, though.
That Ninja Turtles tells us that Triceratons did escape.
And then us. So you got to think, it's like if we've, developed in that 4 billion time window, well, there's ample time then in 14 billion years for other intelligent life. So where is it? And what's the holdup? And what's going on? Why haven't we seen it? There's no signs. Is there a great filter? Is there something we're working our way to? Or are we the first people, civilization through the door? What the fuck is going on? And that's kind of the zoo hypothesis is one, that kind of is an answer for that, or at least a theory on what could be going on in the universe. Yeah,
like you're talking about the Fermi paradox we've done an episode on.
Yeah.
Ooh, long
223, time. Baby.
223? You went and looked that up?
Yeah, buddy. I do my research for tonight.
Research by looking at our own episodes.
I actually don't know if I just said a number as quick as I could.
I'm pretty sure that's that sounds right. Yeah. It could have been, I think it's older than that.
I don't think it's...
But pretty much, the Fermi paradox is if aliens are out everywhere, like where are they and why haven't we seen them?
Yeah.
If you believe we haven't seen them, if you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
And then, the Galactic Zoo Hypothesis is pretty much that like highly advanced civilizations are aware of us, far more advanced than our own in terms of like technology, knowledge, maybe even like lifespan, like there might be immortal, or what's immortal is like you can't die, and then what's one where you can die but you'll live forever unless you die.
You can be immortal but not invulnerable. Like you can be
right. Okay, so immortal. Okay, sure. So they could be that, and they just they're watching over Earth, kind of like a scientist,
Well, dude, I love that theory. I love it so much because there's the quote that like any sufficiently advanced technology is indistinguishable from magic. Mm-hmm. Because you just I have no idea. And when you think about this, like in the chain of events, we've talked about that, but like we do this to humans on Earth, right? We do this to other humans. There's humans on Earth there's like a tribe somewhere and they're sitting around a fire, uncontacted, and they're just sitting there and they're just like, could you imagine if there's other people? And they're like, we would see other people. We would know, like, shut up. Like there's one crazy, like Zell wearing a fucking little bushel skirt. And he's like, I swear there's other people. And they're like, we would see signs of other peoples by now. right? And he's like, you're saying this whole land is filled with other people? Where are they? And then like they see a plane and they're just, oh, what is that? Like they have no connection that that's other people, because to them that is unfathomable, right? You know, they're like, this doesn't make any sense. There's no way that's us, right? And we do that to other humans. So why couldn't, you know, we extrapolate that and be like, there's other civilizations out there that are doing that to Earth. One of the ones that I saw that I really liked with this is that basically these civilizations, these really advanced civilizations, basically just are helping preserve life on individual solar systems. So we're basically, this Earth is right now is our cage, you know, ours in the zoo, and the our solar system is like our big playpen, and like we can get so, you know, we can grow, we can move to Mars if we figure there's puzzles for us. You know what I mean? Can we terraform Mars? Can we terraform these moons? There's the building blocks and the puzzles in this area for us to expand tenfold. But at the end of the day, our biological bodies are not going to be able to go any further than outside of this solar system, because we just are not made to traverse the vastness of space. And then that's extrapolated everywhere. Every solar system, there's like a life form that these things are basically just observing and watching and seeing how they progress. I love that.
The zoo. We're the zoo.
Yeah, we're the zoo.
You know, so each solar system being its own enclosure, whatever. So why
wildlife preserve?
Yeah.
Why would they come see humans? What makes us so special? What would distinguish us from the other ones? What would make it worth coming to see? Like, you know, you go to the zoo and you're like, hey, I want to go see the tigers. Hey, I want to go to the monkey house. Hey, I want to go to see the elephants. You know, what's going to be like that alien kid who goes on, you know, to the zoo with his parents is going to be like, I want to go see the humans. Like, what do we do that would make us fun to watch?
We think go to war and blow each other up.
Yeah, 100%.
That's not fun.
100%, dude. 100%.
To them, it might be.
And it's an interesting thing, and it's just culture, right? Because like if you think about becoming this advanced civilization, like there might be a time where you know, you get into this galactic federation, and then there's like an amalgamation, and you kind of lose culture. Like you see that on Earth, right? Like in the West, we have an amalgamation of culture, and you kind of lose individual cultures, and there's different cultures have fallen off and whatever over the course of history. Dan, what are you grooving to here?
No,
what's going on here?
Listen to music. It's like in the background. Just the music.
You got music in your headphones right now?
A little bit.
Nice.
I was like, what? I was like, that's because his shoulders are grooving.
Little glass of whiskey is his bottom.
So I think it's the culture aspect of it, because like as these civilizations become so advanced and amalgamate, like they probably have like one, in my imagination, is they have one singular culture. And so these are all like different varieties of one life and like how we interact and social, like there's an infinite amount of possibilities. And if you think about like Earth alone, like, dude, we have such a microcosm of like, of a little of everything in like culture and social economics and how we just go about, like, this is, we're a fucking, the best greasy, trashy reality TV show you could possibly fucking
reality
get.
Show.
Do you know what I mean? Like there is nothing more fucking. We are fucking Jerry Springer in the 90s, baby. Like heyday. That's my thought.
Jerry.
Yeah, exactly. Earth.
On this season of Earth.
Yeah. Like, but that would make the most sense to me. Is that it's these things. It's just the how life, because we're only, our perspective is only how life kind of evolves and grows here, but it could look so vastly different that we can't even comprehend on different planets, because there's an infinite space. So it's like this may seem normal to us, and like be like, yeah, it should kind of go like this, but we could be so fucking like shit we can't even fathom. So it's like as you go to all these solar systems, it's like as much as you're like, oh, there's similarities, but there's vast differences that you can't even comprehend. So I imagine it's like especially for like an AI that studies or like an advanced super technological civilization, like it's the variety of just studying. It's, just
Scientists.
observing. Yeah.
Well, I mean, that's the main theory of the zoo hypothesis is either they found us somehow, like through some type of either radio signal or electromagnetic, or they got the energy from our nuclear explosions and we're just blowing up our planet, just lighting them off like fucking firecrackers. Something drew them here. They got here and they decided that we were nowhere near advanced enough to make contact. So therefore, they just observe. That's like, what's it in Star Trek? The
Prime directive.
Prime directive. Like they're not going to interfere till the species is ready or like evolves to the point.
Which
like what was it?
Regularly disregarded on just about every other Star Trek episode.
Yeah, pretty much. But
especially the
first
Kirk
one,
era.
hey,
it's like
it's a guy.
Captain Kirk was like, Prime directive. Fuck that. I'm going to make out with this green skin chick. Yeah.
It wasn't when the Federation discovered like a warp drive or whatever, then the Klingons
when Earth first displayed entry into warp, so faster than light travel, then they were detected by a Vulcan scout ship, I think.
Whatever. Yeah, something
and
like
then,
that.
well, they were part of the Federation, but like the Federation already existed kind of before we joined it. But like when a culture displays the technological prowess of being like, okay, you can faster than light travel, you detect that warp signature and you're like, okay, they are ready to be contacted because now you've entered into the larger stage.
Well, that's cool to me. I like that theory in the sense that a lot of, or at least the modern phenomena came after we unlocked the atom. And maybe that's the signal, like this species is on its way.
Yeah, it's like the first goalpost.
They're like, oh, they have the potential actually to blow up their whole planet. So maybe now we're going to drop in and you're going to start abducting people, really start poking around. Before there's from distance, just observing. Once we start blowing
feel like
ourselves
it's kind of
up.
like, yeah, but if it's like, oh, they can blow up their own planet, but if we make the assumption that you're like, okay, there's enough species out there for us to like comprise of a galactic zoo, it would kind of be like life is like everywhere. So it's like if they're gonna blow themselves up, you're just like, okay, like meh, like they're not a threat. We're not a threat to anybody else except ourselves at that point. I think the marker for being like the warp signature stuff, like if you can travel faster than light, you can like reach other planets and they could be like, okay, they could come bother us, then maybe we should talk to them.
I got a question, and this might be stupid, might be a high thought here, but like I remember, and this might be not even in the realm of real, but like wasn't there something about like whales or something has like genetic marker of when the atomic bomb blast went off? Was there something like that, or is it just something in the earth? Like there's a marker or something. I thought there was.
I know. I'm pretty sure I know what you're talking about. It's not whales.
I don't think it's in Wales though.
Yeah, I couldn't remember. I'm just, like I said,
it's something. Like, I know what you're talking about, but I can't.
There's something though. There's something that has genetic markers. And I was.
It's
curious.
not the marker. It's like it's the radiation, like that type or that type of like isotope or whatever. Like has a certain signature. I know what you're talking about, but it's not. I'm pretty sure it's on whales.
On Zell's theory of, like them picking up people after the bomb, I wonder. And this is just me, just spitballing ideas. Is I wonder if like with advanced technology, like if they pick up a human and they look at your fucking genome sequence, they can decipher when our species split the atom because there's a marker basically from the radiation that was released on Earth when we started fucking blowing these things up. But they're like, yeah, everyone now has these fucking genetic markers.
Yeah, that'd be you'd have that marker if you're in close to Chernobyl or somewhere slowly getting poisoned right from birth.
Of course, that's also assuming that like splitting the atom is a natural progression, where it's like maybe fusion technology comes from, maybe other or like genetic modification, like advanced genetic modification is a different, like they go a different route, instead of building houses out of like stone and stuff and like how we do artificial stuff, they merge with their surroundings and they become more symbiotic with their environments. Like maybe that's a different technology, but it could be just that we're different, like, or just there are different paths to advancement. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, now coming back to Dan's earlier question, like why us? Maybe like our species is on an accelerated path compared to everything else. In the sense that like modern humans, like it's only a couple 100,000 years, maybe 300,000 years. And all of a sudden, boom, we have the nuke. And then all the other species they've witnessed, it's like, hundreds of millions of years. Say this is like a forerunner, a super advanced, immortal race of fucking robots that have been here forever. And this is the first time they've seen a species like leapfrog like that.
Oh, you like in comparison, it's like it'd be like someone in the Middle Ages inventing a bazooka. They're just like, well, this doesn't make sense. You leaped and bounded a whole bunch of steps along the way that are normal, and you shouldn't have this technology yet. And
like they swung by like 300,000 years ago. They're like, oh, they're walking upright. They're throwing spears.
Yeah,
that's pretty good. And then they thought they'd come back in 300,000 more years, and we have just discovered how to build wooden structures, like mill wood or something, like something super primitive. No, they're well advanced. We fucked up. We didn't put in the safeguards. Now these fuckers are going to get off the planet.
And that's honestly, that point makes sense, because if there was like some sort of race that's like an overseer race, they're so advanced, they're one of the earliest intelligent beings, and they're watching all others, they would basically have data from like all of intelligent life. So they would have like a median of being like, the average is this. So like in another 100,000 years, they should be at X, Y, Z level. Just
from arrowhead
from
to
just
rocket
studying.
ship should be 1,000,000 years.
Yeah. Right. And so like, maybe we're a fucking outlier on certain things, right? Like, and that's an interesting fact for them. Is like, well, how are they doing that? And what are they going to do now that they've harnessed this technology before putting all these safeguards in place before they get to that natural progression? I wonder if like it's something like that. The other thing that I kind of was thinking too is like, if there's a race that's of species out there that's super intelligent, just going on Earth, it has not fared well for other humans when humans from distant lands come and visit. Just on a disease standpoint, like usually the new population gets absolutely decimated by fucking germs.
You get a foreign, like an invading force. Yeah, there's conflict and war and death and all the bad stuff, but that's such a small percentage of the actual like death toll. Like when a new disease is introduced, smallpox, for example. There's like millions and millions of people over like, 50, 100 years, like an entire continent worth of people from disease.
So like like Black Plague was like 1/6 of Europe.
Yeah. So it's like, you got to think that like, a race it's a twofold thing, because you got to think that a race that's that advanced has technology to deal with this kind of issue or something, but at the same time they're like, well, we can't risk contamination on both ends, on both sides, because like we might be filthy fucking creatures,
dirty little creatures.
Yeah, what if we're like what if we're the free zoo that nobody likes to go to? We're not the one like the nice one, like the nice zoo. They're like 100%.
Yeah, our zoo, half the animals are people dressed in costumes at a distance.
Their donkeys painted as zebras. Like it's just like, this is real zebra. Like no, that's a donkey you painted.
They would be Russian too.
Yeah.
Alien kids are like, we don't want to go there. Like all they have are mosquitoes. They just talk about politics. Like, dude,
that would be our best. Go ahead, Zell.
I was gonna say it's a good point though that. So if there's this species is organic and they figure out a way to traverse space without fucking collapsing in on themselves and slowly decaying and dying in space travel. So say they figured out a way, some type of wormhole jumps or something that they could get through space super fast without being affected. The only way you'd really know the biology of the planet, because right now we look through our telescopes and we use like the spectrum, like the radio spectrum, and we can decide like what type of elements are on that planet, and we kind of make our best guess, but you have no idea what organics are down there, what kind of compounds. You can just get like a sense of the atmosphere and maybe the composition of the planet. So the only way to really get down is you'll be abducting people. And then if you are a similar makeup, maybe they are like a carbon-based life form, which maybe is rare. Maybe we're not, but maybe, say they are. Then you come down and you just infect the whole planet. Or you bring someone back, they infect your whole species. You don't really know until you get the DNA, you put it in your CRISPR device, figure out do the whole DNA strand, all fucking 400 billion lines of code or whatever it is. So you wouldn't know until you got here. There's a huge risk.
Yeah, you wouldn't know what kind of sexually transmitted disease you're going to get.
Still, you start probing.
Until you start probing. That's such an interesting thought that that is such a barrier. Like that itself is a great filter because it's like, it makes it insane to, know the effects of what like a germ or anything is going to be, or how deadly it's going to be for you, or what you have is going to be deadly for like the native species. So it's like, I wonder how many times, because if you think if the universe is 14 billion years old, how many times have species tried to interact and just fucking met and been like, oh, shake hand, and then just eradicated both each other's species like just through fucking contact diseases? They're like, oh no, we're all dead. Like it's an interesting, like it is such a barrier for communication, like with
cross species plagues.
Yeah, you never think about that, but it's a fucking that's a big problem, huge problem,
big problem.
Yeah, it's like the whole plot turn of War of the Worlds. Spoiler alert.
Yeah. Well, that one's stupid because they would have died as soon as they
handle the water.
They couldn't handle the atmosphere.
No, that's science. That's science. I'm talking War of the Worlds, the original one. The original.
Oh yeah, that one. But they get sick. Yeah,
they get sick and die.
Yeah, why'd they get out of the ship? That was their own fault.
Right.
Idiots.
Right.
No spacesuit. Just raw dog in the earth.
That's dog in the air. No apparatus. No breathing apparatus.
No, you just walk out. Like, oh no,
you're already on the planet. You think you could send out a little probe and scan the air, and then you can analyze it. Then you would know.
Yeah, they spent all their money on the base for the machine before they grind the humans into fucking blood fertilizer.
Yeah,
I do like the evaporating death rays of those. Those are sweet.
Yeah. Which it also didn't make sense because I'm like, they also used us for fertilizer. So why were they evaporating us? Because I feel like it would make more sense to fertilize the land with our blood. Like you think it would have been better for them to just like
you pull out full fertilizer from the atmosphere, like nitrogen and stuff, and you turn it into little pellets.
Yeah, but remember when they're
that was our whole thing. They were using our blood for
they're chewing up the bodies and then spraying it and then growing their little fucking alien vines. Mm-hmm. But like it wouldn't, I think it would have made more sense in that context for them to come out with like fucking meat grinders, and instead of like vaporizing people, they're just like grind it, just splattering blood everywhere. So when they spray their little alien seed that feasts on our blood, that's a good follow-up movie. It's like, what are the humans going to do with the alien vines growing everywhere, taking over the planet? That's the second problem we never talk about after. We're like, yeah, we won. Did we? Because those vines seem to be doing fine.
You gotta clean it all up.
They're made perfect for our planet.
Yeah. Probably.
Yeah, were they terraforming vines? Like, what were those fucking things?
Yeah, I don't remember. Like, that was their whole, I think they were like turning it into Mars or whatever.
Dude, what? Hold on. You mean to tell me an advanced civilization came down, killing humans, and we're spraying our blood everywhere to terraform, which meant they knew the planet wasn't ready for them, and they were getting out of their spaceships. Dude, you had the lowest of low running those ships.
They had already been here because they fucking buried their spaceships in the ground first, right?
Yeah,
and then they had
but the drivers
down.
Yeah, but then their people got out before. That'd be like me going to Mars. Me being on the first flight to Mars and getting to Mars and being like, they're like, all right, boys, we're going to terraform. We're working on terraforming over the next course of the 100 years. We're going to have air. And I'm be like, cool. And then I just like Mars. My eyes start bugging out and I'm like, what's happening? like that's the equivalent of that. Of like you're like
Yeah, there's now we say it, there's some major plot holes in fucking
War of the Worlds.
War of the Worlds.
A little bit.
Never thought about it like that.
No, that brings us to another point actually. War of the Worlds, when the original radio broadcast was done, and people were like freaking out and jumping out of the windows and shit, whatever they're doing.
Yep.
That's like another. I guess you could say that's another reason why we would be a zoo.
100%.
Like we're not ready. You know,
Right.
humanity's not ready for that we're not alone. Maybe for religious reasons or whatever it is. They just know if they showed up on the White House lawn, got out, and shook the president's hand, that half the world would pretty much collapse. So not ready for it.
Or that's their just their way of being like every now and then they dangle it. It makes the exhibit like interactive. Like they dangle little pieces, like they dangle little pieces after us, you know, and then they get us all worked up, you know, like they do with some animals, like like alligator zoos or alligator.
Yeah.
They throw
Got the
the chicken
rope
to feeding
above 'em.
time. Yeah, the feeding time. You throw the chickens out there, whatever, get them to come out and get them all riled up, and you're like,
All right, Dan. We'll just drop them a couple ships. See what they do. You know, see what they do with them.
yeah, just like.
We know some people are going to be onto us and they're going to know we're real, but no one's going to believe them.
We'll
That's
throw a
just
couple
fun.
orbs.
Yeah.
We'll throw a couple orbs out there, whatever, and then watch them go wild.
We'll fly some drones. Fly a couple drones. No big deal. No one will know.
And I think that's just human nature too. Of like, if something were to show itself, or we know, like right away, human
shoot
nature
it.
goes to like one, we shoot
right away.
it, we go on the attack. We're like just naturally, like if you objectively, we're a very aggressive species. The other thing is like if something traversed the stars and came and like showed itself, we would instantly know that like we're at its will. So we would be like, we're like Batman. We're like, where's its weakness? Can we beat it? What can we do? Like, you know what I mean? Like we're looking immediately for how can we fight back if needed? Like that, we're like Batman trying to make all sorts of plans at all times.
Thinking 3 steps ahead.
Give us enough prep time. Like,
Yeah.
Beat anyone.
So it's just it's an interesting thought, because like if something shows up tomorrow, and the crazy thing is like it could show up and like be peaceful, right? And like be trying to communicate with us.
Love.
Yeah. But then the other problem is like we know nothing about this other species. And it's like one of these things where it's like, the scariest thing is like, I always kind of extrapolate what's happened on Earth into the universe. And it's like, imagine you have a spacefaring like fucking Genghis Khan, or like a religious crusade across the universe, like we've seen on Earth, right? Where these people come and they're like, yes. And then they see a sign and they're like, you know what? Our God doesn't favor you. And it's our job to rid the universe of you. Like those are possibilities, because like that's happened on Earth. So I'd say that like those same scenarios in an infinite expanding universe could play out the same at a galactic scale. So it's like you just never know.
Cults.
Yeah, galactic cults of like religious zealots, right? Of like, you're going to worship our religion because it's the one true religion, and if not, you're dead. And that's it. And then you join our crusade to...
This sounds a lot like my elementary school years.
Yeah, but like, you got to think that like, man, we don't know. Like could be conquerors out there. There's so much. But I guess if it's a zoo hypothesis, it's like the zoo hypothesis is that everything's contained. So there's like an overarching race that would kind of keep things in check.
So that the zoo hypothesis works under the assumption that there is some type of either like there is some sort of legal body, legal governing body that is able to enforce the rules of being like no contact.
It's like smack. It's
undeveloped series. Yeah,
it's smacking
species.
Signals from other species of interacting with each other. It's like, no, monkeys, you cannot talk to the tigers. Like, stop. They just smack. Like it's just smack intercepting the signals. But like it's like, dude, isn't there like our universe, like our solar system, isn't there like a heat belt on the like exterior of the solar system where like it gets immensely hot again, where like the heat from the sun kind of like recollects? before it
outside of the
dissipates.
solar system is the Oort cloud, right?
That's a good class.
Which is this
I don't
vast
think
nothingness.
so. It's vacuum. It's also a vacuum.
But there might be like I don't know about heat, but there might be some type of like amalgamation of like cosmic radiation or something that gets like turned in there. He's searching it real quick. He's gonna let us know.
Yeah, I don't know.
That sounds
Thought I
weird.
read that there's like some sort of fucking belt that's like where the heat kind of like collects before it dissipates further. Just
Well, the heat at that point, when you get that far out,
You
like
think
the
so?
energy from the sun is almost zero at that point,
Yeah.
right? It's a twinkling star when you're that far
Yeah.
out. Like you're so far out, you almost like you wouldn't be able to tell really the difference between our sun and like the next sun, which is still like light years away.
I guess so. Yeah.
But I wouldn't be surprised if there's some like weird, like due to gravity, some like radiation belt between because there's like a bubble, and that bubble eventually will meet the bubble of another solar system, roughly like light years out. Maybe there's something there. We'll get my good buddy Neil deGrasse Tyson on the phone.
I'm thinking the Van Allen,
Friend of
the
the show.
Van Allen radiation belt.
That's our planet, though.
Is it? No.
Those are the belts. That is why we never went to the moon, because the radiation at the Van Allen belts is too strong for the shielding of the shuttle, and the people would be cooked inside, melted, if you will, from the inside out like a microwave. And that's why we never went to the moon. And that's why the Earth is flat.
Yeah. Look at the picture.
Connecting 3 theories at
Someone's
once.
got Creighton's got the photo right there. That's from space.
Yeah, those belts, are one of the big reasons why people say that we didn't go to the moon. Even though there is some pretty good explanations of how you could minimize your time in the belts, and with shielding, you probably would be fine. But I don't know. I'm not an expert.
Yeah. It's a lot of math.
A lot of math. Once I get past 1 times 1 is 2, I don't know anything anymore.
Yeah.
So
1 times 1 is 2. Nice.
whatever happened to Terrence Howard? Did
He's been silenced.
theory of everything yet?
Yeah. Nah, he finished it and he turned into pure energy and has ascended.
It just evaporated.
Yeah.
It's gone.
He was actually fucking another species coming to try to. He was like,
was
you guys
trying
made
his best.
you guys made a fatal flaw early on. I'm trying to correct the course.
You'd be galactic civilization by now, but you had to go with that 1 times 1, you know?
1 times
Fuck
1
that
does
up.
not equal 1. That's stupid.
It is 2. Sir, that's 1 plus 1. No, it's not. All right? It can't be. Anyways, that was fun. Okay, we're going to take a quick beer break. We got a few more theories to rip through.
Yeah.
We're going to be right back.
Do the zoo.
Yeah.
You think
it's-
aliens come to visit to try the new seasonal flavors, of
flavors.
Mountain Dew? Yeah. Do you
Yeah.
think they come to some new flavors of Mountain Dew?
Couldn't
Okay,
think of
that's
any better reasons.
that's an interesting, because if you're thinking about like universe wide cuisine, right,
Cuisine,
would be
what?
so like
Wait, can you say what?
cuisine
Say it again?
Isn't that how you say
I'm
it?
sorry, what?
Cuisine.
Cuisine?
Cuisine?
How do you say it?
Cuisine?
Cuisine. That's what I said. Cuisine.
This is like you said zealots before.
Wait,
Zealots.
so you're talking about
Yeah.
like you're like Lord Beerus from Dragon Ball Super, where he just travels around, and if the food's
Yeah.
no good, he just blows up the planet.
Yeah.
No, not necessarily.
Makes sense.
I'm not.
It's just as good a reason to blow it up than any other.
You've accomplished
Pudding
nothing.
sucks.
Yeah, you guys can split the
Boom.
atom, but you can't make a decent pasta dish. Bam! Just explode the whole fucking planet.
But if you think about it, like
Worthless.
if you're a race, like these are some things again. Like variety is the spice of life. So like if you're some sort of like race that's above every, like, you know, traverse instantaneous travel and stuff, like wouldn't it make sense that you're like, hey, well now we can, you literally have everything. You have different cuisines, you have different entertainment, whatever, for whatever you want, you have infinite, right? Because you have all of, and you go visit, right? And you're like, oh, we're gonna go slum it with the humans and eat their fucking little shrimps.
Yeah, maybe we're like the street food stall. You understand?
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, I'll get myself a gyro from Earth.
They're coming here for the guano, man.
Are we like the late night like stopover? Like the aliens get drunk and then they stop here to eat, like on the way home.
What happens on Earth stays on Earth.
But I'm saying like there's probably again, if you extrapolate what we do on Earth, I would say that like if you kind of extrapolate what we do on Earth, you could do on a galactic scale. So it's like people who like travel places to do like hallucinogenics. There's probably like intergalactic species that are like, yeah, we do this place, this planet in this solar system. You can get like this fucking ayahuasca, and you can't get it other places. You know what I mean?
Didn't we make this joke before on one of the shows? But there was like some fucking manzanita bush or something.
That was rare. That was the Cisco Drove thing, is why they came.
Yeah, they're coming here just for that specific bush.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're like, oh, fuck, you smoke this shit. Holy.
There's no way to tell like the body chemistry of a different, species at all. You wouldn't really know.
Oh, that's a good point.
You could be
so
like,
it's like manzanita does nothing for us.
Like,
yeah. And fucking wine, we give them wine. Like wine is like our bottles of wine is a fucking hallucinogenic for them. They're like
fucking like cilantro gets them high or something. I don't know. Just like, yeah.
One time I tried to get high off nutmeg. Terrible.
Nah, that's right. Yeah, sounds like a bad choice.
I think I remember you doing that. It's just like pure dust. You're like eating dust.
Yeah, dude, it was the worst. You put it in milk. I was so sick, and then I woke up in the middle of the night. I was like, I have to go to bed because I'm so sick. And then in the middle of the night, I had a fucking outer body experience.
What would like aliens come here and like they take away? Like they go to, you go to the zoo, you go to the gift shop. Like what would they pick up from the gift shop? Like jars of Nutella or something. Like, and just like, this is amazing.
They're going to Buc-ee's.
Did they get like a little human shaped, like, commemorative, like decorative cup or something? That's just like, I went to Earth and all I got was this crappy cup. Okay.
But like, if you start to, it's not crazy. You get a cow.
Yeah. Like, do you get like a plush cow or something like that?
You
like,
get a real cow.
What if they're looking at you like, oh, like, if you think of like cows, like domesticated animals, what if they look at cats and like cats are the real masters of the human race?
Well, they think the same with dogs. They're like, look at these fucking dogs ruling. Everyone's
but no. It would be cats because like cats, it's like no matter what, they live in a house and they don't do anything.
Nothing.
Like dogs will come when you call them. They'll do stuff.
Cats will randomly bite you and scratch you for no reason.
You can give a dog commands and they'll do stuff. Cats sometimes will do it if they feel like it. And there's been studies where it's like cats understand most of what you're saying and they can understand commands and words. They just don't do it.
It's like, fuck you.
Yeah, they just don't want to do it. Yeah, they just choose not to do it. So what if aliens are like, yeah, maybe cats are the real bosses.
They're not here to study us at all.
Oh, but like, if you think about you think about when they come in ships and they buzz our military facilities. Like, does that not sound like what teenagers do here, where you go and you fucking like, Nicky.
Well, it's like us going to Area 51.
Yeah, you know what I mean. Like they're like, there's a little sense of danger. They're like, if we're stupid, these things could shoot us, but there's not a chance if we're like,
it's like
we can't interfere, but we can get pretty close.
Pretty close. Yeah, it could be something like that. Yeah, the teenagers coming down here and just messing with the cows or whatever, like the animals. It's like the guys who go to the zoo and like they tease the monkeys. They get up at the gorillas and
Have you seen the ones where they show the fucking chimps magic, like card tricks?
Oh yeah. That's us. That's us.
Yeah.
That's them showing up. What?
I don't know what they'd come and take, really, like, but probably anything and everything. Like, why not? Like,
I wonder, like, there'd have to be, I would imagine, like we mentioned before, if there's some kind of like overarching, like, galactic government saying, like, you can only take so much stuff, you can only take, like, it's like going through customs. You can only take, like, $10,000, whatever.
How long were you away? Over 7 days? All right, $400. That's it.
Yeah. You can only take, you go through galactic customs like on the way out of the solar system or something, and they're like, what do you have on you? What did you bring? Do you have any food or food or products or whatever?
I mean, well, if you thought about that, if there's some sort of overarching like fucking legal system, intergalactic legal system, it would account for like how a lot of the people who experience aliens and or have alien experiences like very similar. and because like those people are following it by the rules, and then by the rules of law and what they're supposed to be doing and how they can do it and how they can contact or whatever, and then it would make sense that these outliers are like ones that are like outlaws, right? And they're just coming down, they're just like, yeah, whatever, I'm gonna bang Antonio Villa-Boras. Yeah. I don't care. Right? That's what we're fucking sex tourists. Right? We're going to Earth, right? It's like some back alley shit, right? And like it kind of feels like it with some of them, because you get this really uniform experience from a lot of them that we don't even have to go into detail. The fucking silver tables, the fucking grays, right? Lights. Oh, you get this very scientific feel. Very by the numbers, a lot of those experiences, and then you get fucking
methodical,
weird ones. People getting zapped, frozen, and intergalactic cowboys shooting their pistol arrows,
filling the sky with lead. I just remember, because going back, I mean, the zoo hypothesis is only like an offshoot of that would be essentially it's like. One of the ideas was like, I remember when we were talking about George Adamski, and Adamski's second book, when he talks to Orthon, he goes and visits Orthon and his buddies later, like Orthon and a bunch of other guys who are from like Jupiter, Saturn, and a bunch of other dudes. They tell him the actual history of Earth and how Earth is essentially the Australia of the galaxy, because all of the advanced civilizations took their shitty people and they shipped them to Earth, and they dropped them off on Earth, and that was like their whole thing. It was like in that book talking about how they just leave them here, and periodically they will come and check in on them to see like what they've done, or like if they're just like, hey, I think they give them like an opportunity to like rejoin, but they just like leave them here to just. I don't know, hang out on Earth. Yeah, they're just like, yeah, here, we're going to land you on Earth, and you're going to stay here and until you're ready to play nice. Okay. So it's kind of goofy, but it sounds funny. But there's another one. There's a science fiction series I was reading recently, and it puts forth the idea of how like intelligent species and how we come about. And in this one, it establishes the idea that intelligence is something that has to be like an intelligent species has to be uplifted by another and previously intelligent species. That intelligence is not something that naturally occurs or is assumed to not naturally occur in the universe. That you have to have another like patron species come to your planet, find a proto-intelligent species, and then raise them up. But Earth comes on the scene. And we're like, we throw everything at askew because they're like, wait, you guys are already smart? Like, you guys are already going into space. You're doing all these things. And this is insane. And you don't have a patron species? This is what?
I like that theory because, so say there was like a forerunner, like a progenitor species, and they've been uplifting all these species until they finally get to Earth. And they're like, this is the first planet where we haven't done it. So we're like them. We're like the first planet like them that evolved on our own.
And then it's like we have to go out into this. We're joining this universe that's already, we're joining a program that's already in progress. Where it establishes some of the rules. Where it's like if you uplift a species, your patron species is on the hook. Like you have to. They are like indentured to you for like 10,000 years. Like their species that has
you're sponsored. It's it's like bringing in a sponsored worker. They're your responsibility for 2 years. Yeah. Anything happens, they go to jail. They don't pay taxes. It's your fault.
So what you're saying is we're going to be working at their fucking space McDonald's.
I feel 100%. Like nobody would want to sponsor us. Like they're like, no.
That's why we're not off the planet yet.
Yeah, they're like they saw us like, yeah. You guys want to sponsor the humans? Like, what are they doing down there? Like,
see, the thing with me with that is, I'm like, the thing with the zoo hypothesis that I kind of like always get stuck on is that if you were to believe in this zoo hypothesis or subscribe to it, you kind of have to believe that there is either some sort of like galactic federation of different intelligent species that are kind of maintaining this, or a singularity species that's maintaining it. And it's like, if it's a single species, then you would think that they're keeping everyone else down, because like, how is there not another one out there, a rival? It would make sense that they're kind of just keeping everyone in their cages, and if we get too advanced, they're going to snuff us out because they can't have anyone kind of pushing their presence, and that's
we got there before, Braden. We got pretty close, and what happened about 12,800 years ago, or whatever it is?
Flood.
Boom! You think that was an asteroid or a comet fragment? No, they just fucking. We have those satellites now that shoot like what they call it, the rod from God, like that, it's like a tungsten rod from space and just blows up an entire city, but with no explosion.
Maybe it's not even like intelligence. It's just like life in general. So like life on just planets, like just the diversity is what is individual diversity is in this Galactic Federation. You'd have to put the assumption that biodiversity is something that is considered like the, whatever, it's the major thing that they value. And then you could be like, this is just cleaning, like, like they just throw an asteroid in there. It's just cleaning the exhibit, like, or like forcing an evolutionary
change. Yeah.
And just be like, it's getting a little stale.
Happens.
It's getting a little stagnant. Just chuck a fucking asteroid.
Chuck a rock in there.
Chuck
see what happens.
Buster in there.
The other thing is, so if it's not a singularity species that's keeping everyone else at bay, then it's like a group. And it's like, if you think you were like, imagine like a higher intelligence species made contact with us and we're like, we're going to work together, kind of like you said. If you think about humans' life expectancy, like right now with our technology, like where it's at, it would increase tenfold. You got to think that there would be technology to keep our lives extended far greater than currently, because we've tripled our life expectancy on our own. Is that fair? Like doubled on our own.
The life expectancy is skewed in the sense that if you took out anyone who died before 30, let's say,
if you take out all the poor people.
If you take the people who died of disease and stuff, of like stuff we can prevent now, if you survive past all that, you are probably going to live till 70 or 80 for most of human existence.
I think, but in the
you died so young. Yeah, you died
in the
so
wild,
young from disease and injury.
Well, yeah, that skews it. But I think in the wild, like most large mammals will live until 40 or 50, because it's like that's usually around the time that you suffer like dental death, like your teeth wear out or get infected.
I think mammals. I think less than that.
Any of the large apes, like any of the great apes,
primate,
like great apes, like I think mostly around 50, 60 is like what they do. But like I said, we're almost doubled.
35 to 60 years.
Yeah.
60.
But they rarely live past 50 in captivity.
Yeah.
Outside of captivity.
Yeah.
So say we meet these things, but they're going to have such technological advances that it's going to increase our lifespan.
That's if they're allowed to share it with us.
Well, I'm just saying
we're trapped in the zoo right now.
In this scenario, they do. So they share it with us, but then there's someone that's going to be more than them that shares with them. So if you extract like this in this Galactic Federation, because there's now a group of highly advanced civilizations that are working together to keep the zoo afloat. You got to think that there's like they've now, it's become this like amalgamation of these civilizations that can span thousands of years, because
millions
because their life expectancies have just gone through the roofs.
I forgot to mention in that series they have a thing called like the library, and it's essentially like you have these libraries that are sectioned off, like every species like has like a piece of the library. I don't think any of them had like the full library, but you can like apply and get your species can apply to get like a section of the library, and it's like basically like Wikipedia for the universe. So you would get all of the technology and all of the history that is like of all these other species that have come, innumerable species that have existed, gone extinct or whatever before your species was created, and then you can use that knowledge. But of course you have to go through all billion years of like history and technology to find
billions.
But in that scenario, it was like every species, pretty much all of their technology was just kind of like slight variations on technology that existed before. Like it's just a derivation of like previous technologies that existed. But humans come up with some weird stuff, and they're kind of like, how do you guys do this? Like, what do you guys like? Like we're just coming up with these weird things like how stuff works. things. And yeah, it was also, and then like it also puts out the idea that it's like we talk about humans being like, you know, the intelligent species, but you have other species that are they're on the cusp of intelligence, like gorillas, you know, chimpanzees, dolphins, whales, you know, these ones. And it's like I just saw the article the other day that it's like, you know, they've done a couple experiments where they're able to almost hold like 20-minute conversations with the whale, like a humpback whale, using AI. So it's like, if you're able to like, we're almost able to uplift these things. It's like, you know, are they already intelligent and they just don't feel like doing the stuff that we do?
Or there's no way, like, we just can't fathom how to communicate properly because of the different ways we live. And that's another problem, is like, there could be a race there. It's like, it'd be like them trying to communicate with us is like us trying to communicate with fucking whales.
Ants.
That's like
right?
the first book of the series that talks about like how we uplift, like essentially how we uplift dolphins. Like humans become the patron species of dolphins, and dolphins get like genetically modified. And
we start riding them. That's dude, I love this.
We don't ride. We don't.
What? I thought you said they were slaves.
The Simpsons,
not our
the dolphins
slaves.
walk out of the water and they fucking take over, man.
But it's interesting the way they portray it, where it's like, yeah, you're trying to communicate with a species that thinks in a completely different way. Like their complete view of the world is like they live underwater, where it's like complete 3 dimensions. You know, it's like they have to, you know, going up, going down. They communicate mostly in like.
I mean, I would
songs, like they have.
I would
songs
argue
and the way they depict things, like how they.
I'm gonna blow your mind.
Sonics
I'm
and
gonna
stuff.
blow your
It's
mind a little
insane.
bit. You said dolphins. It's crazy for them because they're underwater. I would say to anyone outside of Earth, like, we're kind of technically underwater, just less water. You know what I mean? Like, our atmosphere is just less.
Humidity.
It's less thick.
Less
you know what I mean?
dense water.
It's less dense water. We're just less water. We're living in less water.
We're all living underwater.
Right? It is technically.
We're all
Do you
aquatic.
think about it?
We're all aquatic.
We're all aquatic.
creatures.
This is all just. We're just under way less water.
Vapor. We're under vapor.
Yeah, it's still water.
It is a cool series. It's like, it is pretty. It's interesting to see how, you know, or think about how we would communicate with other species. Like chimpanzees would be easy because our bodies, our anatomy, our environments are very much similar in the way that we see the world. But like communicating with another species that lives on the same planet, it lives on the very same planet, but has, you know, evolved in a completely different environment. Although they are still mammals, like, you know, in like our anatomy's kind of still similar, but they also are completely different, communicating in a language that is both not only like sonic but subsonic. Like they can communicate with, like, you know, with their using echolocation and those kinds of, you know, their evolutionary tools that they've had. It's it's just really interesting
Bananas.
to think about.
Bananas.
No, it'd be. I mean, it's weird to think about how we would, like, how a species would communicate with us, like, or even like how, you know what I mean, to try to put your mind into something more advanced than us and how they would communicate, and we're their dolphins. Kind of blows my mind. And we're like, what?
Well, I mean, you could take that theory a little bit farther, and this is something I've pondered about a few times after a couple grams of mushrooms. Is that, say you had this forerunner race, like a progenitor race, but they've evolved beyond physical being. They operate on frequency. And maybe they do try and communicate, or they send out communication to us, but we lack the tools to understand or to receive it. Because when we talk about, like, everything is frequency, really. Like, matter is just molecules vibrating at frequency, really is what it is, if you really break it down. And you can go all the way. You can go from radio waves are really long waves, travel a long distance. They can penetrate through pretty much, like, you could get radio in a bunker, really, unless it's like lined with lead or something. And then you move up, you get to like microwaves, infrared, which the waves start to get smaller and smaller. It's still not visible, but you can use those like spectrums to communicate or to like see. Like, we can develop technology to see in those spectrums. Then you get to like your visible lights, like what we live in. We live in visible spectrum, which is a little a little sliver
a little bit.
of the whole spectrum, right? And then when it gets crazy, is you get into like the ultraviolet and like X-ray, gamma rays, like the tiniest little fucking, the tiniest waves. Like we're like fucking nanometers, like just little fucking tiny things. And we know how to use them and we kind of know what they do. But just imagine a species has evolved to live as, they're not even physical and they live forever. And to communicate with them is impossible because they operate on a completely different spectrum. Like they're not, like there's not, no matter what, they could try and give us signs. They make
it's like
orbs in the
your
sky invisible,
it's like,
right?
Well, that was
it's like grandparents trying to hook up their Wi-Fi.
Yeah.
Right? It's never going to happen.
Can't
They
happen.
just cannot figure it out. Doesn't matter. They could read it. Could be instructions, 1, 2, 3. They're just never going to understand it.
I think that was I know I've talked about it before, the book Childhood's End, which is very similar to that, where you have a overarching species, like there is a consciousness, a central energy being which reaches out through the universe, finds intelligent species and brings them into the uplift into the consciousness of the universe or whatever. But since they can't, like Zell said, they can't communicate with us directly, they have to use an intermediary species. So they like created like another, like it's a evolution, like something like evolutionary sterile species that cannot evolve, and there are other ones I think, but they just use a couple of them, and they send them to these planets to prepare them to join. Like these ones will never, like those species that they use are like they will never be able to proceed past the point like of physical existence, but they are bound to serve the central consciousness to go out and uplift these, prepare these species to join and uplift and show them the way,
like a little bridge. I like that. I mean, I just always thought of all this, like we live in a tiny, just a little sliver. And if this, some type of like, you call it like a light beam, but a frequency beam that lives just in a little speck of the frequency, but either in really deep or really like fast moving waves or small waves. We just don't, they're sending signals, but we don't have the technology to receive them yet. So not necessarily are we a zoo. We're a zoo in the sense that we just can't get out because we can't communicate with the higher species. That's really
they're out there performing magic tricks, and we just don't get it.
We can't decipher them.
Oh, that's a good. I mean, wouldn't that be the best? That's the best way. Like we talk about, like these markers, and it's just like they've left all these things to communicate with them, and until you figure out how to communicate with the masters, you're not getting out of the cage, kind of thing. Like and that's all it is. It's like we just got to figure out how to communicate.
Yeah, like
so
some people give them different names, right? Some people give them like angelic, like angels. That's what some people refer to these beings of, like a higher frequency being.
Yeah,
I think Freddie Silva calls them the Watchers, or some other people call them the Watchers. It's the beings above us that we all feel like they're there,
biblically
but we can't
accurate
prove.
Angels.
Yeah, like we feel that they're there, and we know like something else must be out there, but we can't see or touch or communicate. So therefore, there's no proof. So it's like it's impossible. So, I mean, it's a cool theory. I like the zoo hypothesis, just like the aliens are either, they know we're here and they're just watching. They've been watching for a long time, or they've just got here because we've just marked a point in their evolution where we've signaled them to come.
Mm-hmm.
Or it's a planet, like it's a zoo in the sense like they just come to visit just for their fun and they have no intention of ever doing anything for
or they
us.
don't really care.
They don't
just
give a
show
shit.
up, just like,
Hey, if they make it off, good for them, but we're not going to do nothing. We like to come here. We like to get stoned off grapes, and then we fuck off.
Or we're that small little forest that like they just need to blow up to make their galactic superhighway and disregard us and all.
They're just here, just measuring, just getting ready to annihilate the planet.
Like, you have so long, and thanks for all the fish.
Right? Or we're just we're just not. We haven't evolved enough to be equipped with the tools to communicate with a species at a higher intelligence. kind of like us to ants, right? Ants are intelligent in the sense that, you know, they are like amazing builders and they communicate and they form like these colonies. Then everyone has a job and they're, in that sense, they're super intelligent. But that's all they can do. They'll never, like, are not equipped to evolve farther than that, unless we go in as we're their, like, the grandfather race, and we pick up an ant and we like alter its DNA, and now it's actually like intelligent fucking.
Now I can paint the Mona Lisa, and
which would be a terrible idea.
No. Yeah.
And all of a sudden they grow to 10 times the size. There's ants the size of your fucking forearm.
Yeah. I read there was a comic about that. They made super intelligent ants and they just ate everybody.
Yeah, it's not terrible. A good idea.
It's never a good idea.
It's a bad idea.
Exoskeleton, you can't, like, our weapons don't even
They're so strong. They're so strong. Like, by, like, to size to strength ratio, they're insanely
They're the
strong.
strongest animal, are they not?
Terrifying.
It'd be like the equivalent of us carrying a house over our head, just like picking it up and just walking around.
No, I don't want any of that.
Can't do it. But yeah, it's a really cool theory. I don't know. Is there any other theories that we missed?
I don't think so. I think
as far as the Zoo's hypothesis is just its own kind of thing.
It's this little sliver of the why. If there's aliens out there, the Fermi paradox.
Yeah, and there's a lot of, for people, like, there's a lot of, I know I mentioned a couple, but there's a lot of good books and there's a lot of good, like, science fiction TV shows and stuff that are based off of that. I remember in middle school we read the Twilight Zone. We did like a class read along of the Twilight Zone episode, the monsters are due on Maple Street, and that's a phenomenal episode of the Twilight Zone, and everybody should go watch that. It's kind of based off of it. It plays on the zoo hypothesis, but people should watch it. It's amazing. I mean, the Twilight Zone itself is great, but that one is a really stellar episode, and people should watch it. I think it's a really fascinating idea that we have represented. A lot of authors and directors have represented the idea, and it's like there's a lot of good interpretations out there, and people should check them out.
Yeah, it's really cool. The whole thing, the whole Fermi paradox, and I'll just like in like just why haven't we seen anything, or we have seen something and someone's covering up. There's really the two trains of thought, right? Aliens are here, they've been here, and we just don't have the evidence publicly to say that they're here. But someone knows, or a few know, or they know we're here, and they're just not going to show themselves for whatever reason.
Yeah, or taking home their cow plushies.
We've talked about different theories, like the dark forest. Like, we're sending all these signals out. We shouldn't be. It's just a matter of time before someone.
It's METI, meet and extra. It's not search for extra.
Yeah, SETI. Yeah.
Well, there's METI, which is like we've talked about them before.
They're
messaging extraterrestrial intelligence.
Yeah, and they're shooting out. Shooting out.
And
shit.
People are like, not a bad idea.
Because it's been 50 years.
Yeah, but like, how far would, like, I don't know. We talk about radio signal attenuation. Like, I don't even know if it get that far enough. You know?
I looked into this before, and in order to like pick up a radio signal, say our most powerful radio antenna, radio whatever, shot something straight out towards a planet, and then say it's 50 light years.
Like Alpha Centauri, right? Like Proxima Centauri is like the closest one.
What's that, like 5 light years or something? 6 light years? It's the closest
6
one.
or 8 or something. Yeah, like.
So
you still need a radar dish
at them. You would need a radio telescope in equivalent to the distance. There's like a ratio of the distance to the radio wave. So you need like a radio telescope the size of like from here to the moon.
Yeah, like a receiver dish the size of like a continent.
Or like an array of dishes, which if they're super advanced, you might have just like across the solar system, like array of dishes, and they all get a little bit of the information and put it together.
Just relays it.
And then like builds it in like a kind of like a grid. Like, oh, that one got a little piece, this got a little piece. Oh, it's all came at this time. Oh, therefore we know. They're fucking watching Golden Girls. Cool.
Yeah. Let's watch Golden Girls. Let's do that.
Like, that's what they say. Like, the shows from the 50s and 60s are like the first ones that were kind of.
And then they get Jersey Shore and it blows their mind. They're like, holy fuck. This is Earth.
This is Earth. On this season of Earth.
EDM and fucking.
You got the 90s rave music, the start of raves.
Incredible.
Blowing their minds. It's cool. That's a fun little theorizing episode. I like to
Zoo. Welcome to the zoo.
Talking that kind of shit. Welcome to the zoo. That's the title. There it is.
Yeah. Welcome to the zoo, baby. Ooh, that eggnog fucking melting my guts. Oh, yeah.
Should try some with Mountain Dew.
Yeah. No, I'm good.
Anyways, I think we got a couple new Patreon supporters.
Oh, snap.
So now we got, well, let's do a quick reminder. Don't fucking sign up for Patreon on an iPhone. Don't go through the App Store. Because what's going to happen?
Apple your money.
It's going to. We had to select something that says it's going to auto upcharge you the equivalent of what Apple takes. It's just going to pay more, and we get the same. It's not worth it. What you got to do is to sign up on a desktop computer, and then you can still use Patreon on your phone without paying the extra fees. That's the workaround.
Can you just do it on your browser on your phone?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can do that. Just don't sign up through the App Store.
No App Store. Fuck the App Store.
Fuck the App Store.
Once you sign up, then you can download the app.
Yeah, once you've logged in, as long as you don't pay on Apple, it's like if you pay, it's the same for every app. If you pay for a Google Premium on Apple, the charge comes to your credit card is Apple, and Apple takes a cut from Google. They do it to everyone because they say that their App Store is so popular and so big that the 30% is worth it to have your app on there. Which obviously it is because everyone is fucking on there and everyone's paying 30%. Except for us. We're going to bypass that.
Yeah.
Fuck that.
Stick it to them.
You go to alientheorist.com, hit the support tab. You could also just sign up on Supercast. You don't get the Patreon app. You could just listen as normal. Same thing.
As you're listening, when you're listening to this, all the tiers are updated, baby.
Yep.
Yep. We'll explain more to the current supporters in After Hours, but pretty much there's some stuff offered that we kept forgetting to offer. So we changed it up for some merch rewards.
Merch drops.
Continued support. You get
get a little gift
shipped right to you.
Right to you.
Exclusive Patreon merch. Boom. Anyways, we got Kurt Butterfield, Rachel Williams, Zachy D163, Lewis Automotive. Search for Lewis Automotive on Google. I'm not sure where they are. But,
was that the fucking
the name?
His name is an
Lewis
ad?
Automotive signed up for Patreon.
Wait,
I thought his name was
said
Lewis Automotive. Search Lewis
Google.
Automotive on Google. I was like, what a genius name.
Fucking backslash.
Is it like the whole mechanic shop? Like said?
We got William W.
Zell's reading a 30-second ad.
FU, and we got Laned Night Sky supporting the show. Thank you very much. We fucking appreciate it.
Fantastic.
Cheers. And listen, as we always say at the end of these things, keep those eyes on the skies.
See you in After Hours.
Now Taxes is 100% free when you file in the TurboTax app if you didn't file with us last year.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, just do your own taxes in the app by 2/18.
What if I have lots of forms?
All good, all 100% free.
What if I had 3 jobs?
Still 100% free.
What if I once saw Bigfoot?
That has nothing to do with taxes, so still 100% free.
Now that's what I'm talking about.
Now this is Taxes. See if you qualify in the TurboTax app. Excludes TurboTax Live, must start and file in app by 2/18.